Italian Parliament dissolves dream and a few other things to consider. Last night on the 20th I had the following dream. I had a dream last night of Italy's Parliament dissolve. I saw the Parliament in front of me. The Parliament splits in two. The left and right side of the court or Parliament, I saw them sitting in empties, each side exiting on their respective sides. I see the judge step down and the Parliament is empty. Italy will go into a crisis in the Parliament which will see it stalled. No one was inside the Parliament at all. The country will still silent. Last week Saturday on the 17th of October 2020 I was making a coffee. I was standing there when the following came to me. I saw it clear as daylight. Sometimes I do not know if it is a vision or an insight. This is one where I am not 100% certain. I saw the UK will go into lockdown in November. I see the second lockdown takes place. I then saw Prime Minister Johnson early next year, I think it is around the February or March, talk about a digital currency being introduced into the country. I saw the paper notes become worthless. I believe this could be what the seer was seeing when he had the vision. He was seeing the currency will become worthless, and that is what I saw. The introduction of this currency will make all the paper notes in circulation become worthless. It will be announced, but I'm not sure when the new digital currency will be in full swing, but it is more than likely result in the paper becoming worthless. I saw the entire unfolding of how the banks had been planning this all along. They knew in the crisis people would hoard their money, and so they switched the system while everyone was trying to game the system by not putting their cash into bank accounts. This is where these Corona apps fit in. It is the testing ground for this rollout. The rollout of this digital currency might not be an overnight thing, but the mention of it will more than likely cause people to go into a panic and get sucked into the system. This is one reason I believe the IMF was paying governments to shut down their economies. It's all part of the globalist plan. Working from home, getting the masses to work from home, preparing them for the coming digital revolution where everything, all commerce will be done digitally, is all part of the plan. On to the Free State. I see we are having severe fires going on there just after the incident. The clue lies in my previous videos. I do not want to spell it out exactly and clearly right now. If you watched or have seen previous videos, you will know exactly what is happening in this country, and if you look behind the veil, behind the curtain, you can see how things are being set up and brought about like I mentioned. These fires look eerily similar to fires we have seen get set off in California, Australia, Iran, Syria, and even as far as China. I believe the entire event at Senegal and even what happened to the farm manager has all been part of a much larger plot. I am afraid also if I come out and openly say what I really want to say, the cat is let out the bag, and I'm not against these things which are happening, but more wish to not put everything out there, because the end of these events will be the full fulfillment of what I have seen in the decades to come. Those working for their own agendas in the background to bring about that Thorn-Bush government are 1, perhaps even 5 footsteps ahead of most people on the ground. What I have seen is about 50 footsteps ahead of them. The New World Order's burial ground is here in South Africa. I warned a while back we would see more intervention. Last week it was announced an EU army would be getting involved in Mozambique. It is highly advantageous for the Thorn-Bush government to quickly establish itself during the breaking up of nations overseas. They have to come into power now fast here to secure their sea routes of old. If they do not step in and some other power steps in during all the chaos, well then they control half the oceans. This is why things are now going to speed up. Malema is being used to flush out all opposition. All opposition groups who oppose him oppose those who back and finance him. He is being played and used for them to come back into power here. setting the fires and then stepping in as the good fireman. It's an old strategy. Do not get sucked into the electric feeling they want to generate, and do not get sucked into your own electric feeling that you generate while discussing things with other people. Getting revved up about events unfolding. The thorn bush wants no opposition. They cannot have any opposition. They are using the revolutionaries to beat the bush to chase out anyone who wishes or might want to do something. They are sweeping the land to see the response, while now after 26 years slowly giving attention to the situation they created. 1 minute they were pushing for a rainbow nation, hitting us with sanctions, and then they turned around and ran the PR campaigns for white monopoly capital to cause the tension they accused us of stoking in the old South Africa. We see in Namibia the government starting to get heavy-handed and talking heavy about the whites and the farmers. Did not the seer say they would head to South Africa, the last Namibian Boers, before things pick up? Can you tell how late it is in the season? Are you prepared for the coming harvest? Have you got your farm tools ready, or are you slacking while watching things unfold? Do not fall prey to the false flag setups. This is an old war technique. Preparation is key. The West at this stage cannot afford the growing nationalist populations to see that multiculturalism has failed in South Africa. If they want revolutions in the West, sure, they want anything about South Africa. South Africa is the multicultural lampstand which was used to light up the world. They use South Africa as the test and the proof to show the world that if these racist whites could make it work, well, the rest of the world has nothing to worry about. Now that South Africa is getting all the attention, especially among the growing alternative media which gets more views than the mainstream media these days, they will not let it happen. See the lockdowns across Europe. I said something big is going to happen in Europe as shown to me. All these lockdowns, I think, are in preparation for this major event in Europe. I have seen something a few times now. I will discuss it after, or should President Trump win the next upcoming election. If President Trump wins, then America is going to pull the greatest American Democratic trump card the world has ever seen, the likes of which we have never witnessed in our entire history. If I am correct, if it proves correct, it will be the greatest strategic psychological operation to ever be pulled off and achieved in the most cunning, most amazing way that it will blow everyone's mind when it happens. But when it happens, it will be so subtle and so awesome that never in history has any military psychological game ever been played like this. I call this what I have seen, the great American Trump tongue lashing the world has ever seen, to win everyone over and take full control of the entire situation. If I am correct, if Trump wins, the Trump that rises up during his second term is going to be like nothing we have ever seen. This is the period when the mainstream media will collapse, when the media will shine bright on South Africa. I have been waiting to discuss this insight or vision now for 2 months. I am itching to discuss it, but it would let the cat out the bag too soon. I have no words for what I see America and Trump doing should he win. If he wins, it will be the greatest psychological operation in the history of the world, and I am even lost for words here to describe the genius, pure brilliance of this. When Trump tongue lashes the world, the leaders will go into hiding. When Trump tongue lashes the world, it will be more severe than taking a beating from a Democratic whip. The whites in South Africa in time are going to be shown on the world stage as the underdogs to gain full support. This is when the West looks our way, especially Europe.